Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association, created and hosted by speakers for speakers. As we count down to the new year, we're celebrating our top 10 episodes of 2025, packed with powerful insights to help you become a better speaker and build a better business. Before we dive in, here's a quick announcement. Speakernomics is getting a glow up. Launching in January 2026, we're coming back with a fresh format, dynamic new hosts, and a stellar lineup of subject matter experts. Click the link below to subscribe and download wherever you listen to podcasts. The stage is set. Let's tune in. Number 10, kicking off the countdown, we are celebrating Sarah Michel, CSP, and Inside the Meeting Planner Studio, how to get booked and rebooked.
And who is Sarah Michel, you ask? Well, she is an experienced architect who's been working in the meeting industry for over 25 years to create dynamic audience experiences. She's also the vice president of professional connexity for Velvet Chainsaw Consulting, helping organizations design and execute can't-miss meetings. But wait, there's more. She's also a certified speaking professional, as well as a sought-after MC facilitator and panel moderator for audiences and organizations around the world. Sarah, welcome to Speakernomics. How are you today?
I'm great, Kenneth. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, to all my speaking friends, what does it take to make a speaker stand out today with meeting planners? After all, living in that sea of sameness is an easy way to be drowned out by those speakers getting booked consistently in any economic climate. But event professionals and meeting planners have a lot of choices, and the decision process for them is changing and expanding. After all, you don't win them all, but let's turn those swings and misses into homers that get you that gig and more. Then let's jump into the Meeting Planner Studio and find out what will work for the speaking you. And before we jump in, make sure to go to speakernomics.com. That's where you can find the tips, insights, and knowledge to help you become a better speaker, build a better business, and get paid to speak. Sarah, let's dive in. First of all, let's talk about the search process and how you see that evolving and what you know helps meeting planners, and also what are event professionals and meeting planners looking for today. And I'm not necessarily just thinking about the way we traditionally search. It's Google, it's now ChatGPT, it's the referral process, it's websites, demo reels, all the things. But how is that expanding, at least in the near term that you've seen?
Yeah. So, for sure, the Google and chat, but I would also say YouTube is a huge search engine for planners because it gets you right to video. What the end of the day, what really gets you booked is going to be video. So I can't stress enough how important it is to have clips. And it's not just having, a decent demo. I would say more and more planners are wanting to see just unedited you on stage commanding an attention of an audience and seeing an audience engaged, and not, you don't have to spend a lot of money on that. It's just getting good reel up there. So I think YouTube, chat, all of that, yes, that's being used. But also, still, I think one of the strongest ways that you get booked is through what I'm going to say, a trusted source. So the planner, and there's a lot of, you and I were just talking about, this is a lot of young planners that have, since COVID, we had a big retirement of seasoned meeting planners that left during COVID. So a lot of new up and coming younger planners are in there, and they're much more comfortable using social media and chat and all of that to find speakers. But they usually aren't the decision maker. They're going to be bringing 10 to 12 names forward to probably the VP or the director of meetings who is more seasoned. And at that point, they're going to go to trusted sources to say, have you seen the speaker? What do you think? If they don't know about them. So, it's just always your reputation and what you're doing and how you're building relationships out there. Because you do well for a planner. There is, a couple of really high active search engines that are planner only engines. NPI has one, PCMA has one. And, Spin, there's all kinds of them, and they're very active. and you do well, they go in and say, I just booked the speaker. They were amazing. Were so easy to work with. That's always the first thing. They, hit it out of the ballpark. They delivered exactly what I asked them to do. And then 4 or 5 planners say, give me the contact info. So that trusted source is still really important, but definitely how you're key searching, making sure that you're going to get picked up on a Google search, because the Google search, think about the pain point that a planner has that they're looking for a speaker to help with. And honestly, they go into the engine and say, I need a speaker who can help me with, or how do I find a speaker that can help in this pain point? And so are you making sure that your titles of your talks, your keynotes, are pain point related and are solution to solving problems that the audience members have?
How do you think through as well the speakers that aren't known necessarily by those trusted sources? I mean, unless you're a celebrity, not everybody knows everybody or knows of everybody. So there's
Sure.
always people that come into the market, and there's people that go, and there's some great speakers that nobody's really ever seen that maybe they aren't automatically noted in MPI, for example.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them to kind of rise to at least consideration?
Well, I booked a speaker this year for a client that none of my trusted sources had ever seen. I couldn't find one person that had seen her, but in a search that I did, she came up because I was coming at it from a pain point for this client. And she came out of the industry that I was booking for. So she walked in the shoes of those audience members and then now had moved on to being a coach and doing, a lot of leadership coaching and speaking. And so because how you rise up, I mean, with that her website, everything was tailored to the pain point that I was looking for. And I did an outreach phone call. That's still the way I reach out to speakers. And by the way, it drives me nuts when speakers don't have their phone number on their site. Don't make it hard to reach you. There's still a lot of people like me that want to make a phone call and have a conversation. And I don't want to talk to your business manager, your VA. I want to talk to you.
Fill out a form.
Yeah, I don't want to fill out a form. And she took my call and I was impressed. And then I vetted her probably more than I ever had with a speaker because I didn't have a trusted source and I hadn't seen her live. And she had some footage, but not a lot of footage. But anyways, she killed it. She crushed it. But I was very nervous on that one. I mean, up until seconds before she went on stage, I felt like I could throw up. And I felt in that moment what so many, when I was a speaker, so many of my clients would feel, because it's all on you. If the speaker fails, it is all on you, because you're the one that brought them in. So anyways, the point to your question is, it was not through a trusted source. So yes, you can find people that you're not going to have any trusted source on, but the meeting goes well on the call, their video is good. They've got good, reliable sources that said, she's amazing. And most importantly, she demonstrated on the interview call with the client that she understood the pain points and could walk in their shoes and had some solutions and ideas that were really going to help bring that forward. And the energy we were looking for was verified on the video. So, yeah.
Right. Well, from your experience, what are some of the top things that meeting planners are looking for today, especially when selecting a keynote speaker?
That you understand my audience, that you understand the pain, the problems that they're facing, and that you have solutions, ideas, strategies for those problems is critical. The blanket keynote where, you're going to come in and do the same thing. You used to, there were plenty of people that did that for years that made a lot of money. It doesn't work anymore. Customization is not a nice to have. It's a have to have. You have to be able to demonstrate you can customize your content, that you're going to understand, you're going to speak to them, and it's going to feel like you've known them for years. I think that's the number one thing they want. They also want engagement. So they're looking for, this coming together post-COVID now, coming to face is very changed since COVID. What drove you to a meeting before COVID and what drives you now, especially in the times that we're in with travel and visa and hassles and all of this, what drives you to go to a face-to-face is not because I want to hear more content. It's because I want to, I want to learn how to make sense of this content I'm drowning in. And I want to build a community. I want to feel connected. And the general sessions is the one time that we bring the community together in a big tent on a face-to-face meeting. Maybe it only happens once a day. That speaker has to deliver on that community. Connexity, as you said in my title, stands for community and connecting, coming together. And that's what has to happen. So it's imperative. And it doesn't mean that you have to do interaction where you're trying to get the audience to talk to each other. It does mean you need to be very engaging. You need to have some humor. You need to have good stories. You need to take people on an emotional journey and really get them engaged, so engaged in the edge of their seat. And I think that's, and by the way, if you do engagement or if you're comfortable doing audience engagement, that is a huge plus. Interaction is big for planners right now because it helps them deliver on the networking promise of the meeting, which is why everybody's there.
So how do you think of the definition of value and how that's changed from the perspective of, say, planners and attendees?
Yeah.
And really, how should speakers evolve to meet that in between?
Yeah. I think, well, from the attendees' point of view, they're looking for, I need your keynote needs to result in something for me. So it needs to either be you inspire me to want to change my attitude, perspective, skill set. Somehow you move me in some way to take some action. Action is huge. So you should be able, as a speaker, to be able to clearly say, as a result of my keynote, these two or three actions should be inspired to, audience members should be inspired to do it, be able to articulate what those actions are. And I think that's a value prop speakers are looking for, because it's so easy to see speakers online when you've got footage. That's why the same keynote doesn't work anymore because most people have probably already seen it online. So how are you really, understanding me as an attendee? I want to know that you get me and that you understand my pain and you're giving me some strategies moving forward. And I think for the planner, it's that they want to see the ROI and they want to see these actions being inspired. And I think they're looking for, it's a lot of work to find a good speaker that is a match, that hits a home run. And I think, with the times that we're in, the disruptive times that we're in, I just posted on the Facebook page today and then for NSA, a study that just came out from PCMA today got released on disruption in meetings due to executive orders and the travel bans and the giant cuts that have happened in government and education. And there's no question that's impacting meetings. And so what I'm already seeing happening is that instead of hiring 3 keynotes, we're going to hire 1 or 2 at the most. And so we're going to use more industry panel. We're going to do industry panel on day 3. That doesn't mean that there's not opportunity to moderate that. But, really thinking about how can if I find you and you're a good fit for me, coming at it with how can I be a partner for you? And so the showing up and speaking and fleeing model is dead. If that's what you're doing, you're missing out on opportunity. So it should be a conversation around how else can I bring value? I mean, you're bringing me there. I'm going to come in the day before because coming on the day of, you just give people heart attacks with all the travel nightmares. So, I'm already there. And how can I bring value? And I think planners, again, with the disruption happening, may only be hiring 1 or 2. But they have roles for you to play. They have more opportunities for you if they've gone through all the vetting and you're a good fit. So I think that's really a great conversation for speakers to be saying, how else can I bring value? And this is an opportunity for you to think about what other ways can you deliver that, whether that's doing a breakout, whether that's doing a pre or a post webinar, maybe it's facilitating some kind of an executive group. A lot of corporate groups and even associations have women only groups that meet. There's an opportunity there. There might be, an executive CEO only meetup that happens. Maybe you facilitate that. So ask the question. And I think planners are really open to how else can we get value out of you and extend this relationship beyond just a keynote.
Or even engaging with the audience hours after you've been on stage. I mean, there's so many people that grab their suitcase and go, but what advice would you give to speakers that are trying to build, that should be building lasting relationships with event professionals? We know so many of them that, again, this is a lot of some of the bad sales stuff that people run through, but it's the transactional process. They're interested in that event, and a lot of times it might be out of need, so you get to understand if they need to make the sale.
Right.
Those people that want to build a long-term career in this are not looking for just making a sale. They're looking at building lasting relationships.
Yeah. I think, the lasting relationships is huge. And that's why when you can look at different ways to bring value and look at your, really looking at your area of expertise that you're in and all the different ways that you can deliver that. I do think we're going to end up with the disruptions that are happening. I think we are probably going to have to do more hybrid or packaging some of the, because there's just going to be people that can't travel. They can't come to your meeting face to face, but they still want to be, they're still a member and they want to stay engaged. And so looking at, I already have a couple clients that are going to package together the keynotes that get recorded. So I think, you got to get over yourself if you're a speaker saying you can't record me, you're just not going to get hired. So, get over that. And you can certainly say that this is only available for 90 days or something like that. That's fine. But we're going to be seeing more packaging of recording those three keynotes, selling that to members who cannot make it in person. And there's an opportunity for you as a speaker to be involved with a live Q&A while that's being shown, the keynote. There's all kinds of things that you could be doing to build that. So, I think it's they're just really thinking outside of just that 45 or 60 minutes. How can I bring more value?
Now for a little speaking trivia. The first ever Cavett Award recipient was Cavett Robert in 1979. Who was the second award winner? Back with the answer in just a moment. Before we jump back to the show, here's a moment with NSA member, speaker, and author, CSP, Justin Jones Fosu.
Justin, why did you join NSA?
Wow. So I joined NSA for many different reasons. But probably the biggest thing to know is why I didn't join NSA earlier. Initially, I heard about NSA as the National Speaker Association, and great. I heard a lot of bad things about it. I heard some people about these clicks, it's people gonna be selling you stuff. There's gonna be all these things, and I fit into that. And then people pumped me up. I was like, oh yeah, but just speaking 40 to 50 times a year, you don't need NSA, right? You're good, right? And I finally got over myself. And I've been speaking, I think, for 7 years. And I went in 2014. And the first day I was there, Shark, I was like, why have I been so prideful? It was in that moment that I realized that I not only needed it, but I wanted it, and it would actually help me to become a better speaker. And so I joined NSA ultimately to become a better speaker and develop a community of other people who learned and lived and grew into a space called speaking.
And here's the answer. In 1980, the second Cavett Award recipient was the late Bill Gove, CSP CPAE. And now, back to the show. Your session at Influence is immediately after the event ends. But nobody needs to leave because it ends at like noon. So I mean, this is a post-con event
Yeah.
at Influence, but it's going to be the one that probably most people who want to get booked on stages are going to want to see. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be speaking about at Influence this year.
Yeah. So I'm moderating a panel with 3 very experienced planners. I'm really excited that we just added David Kilman. David Kilman is a very seasoned corporate planner, over 25 years as a corporate planner. He currently is the creator and co-director of EXL, which stands for it's the world's largest invitation-only, basically community for global heads of some of the world's biggest corporations, biggest brands are members. And I think he's got 300 and a wait list of people that want to get into it. So it's basically a network of executive level corporate planners, and their meeting is happening 2 weeks before Influence. So he plans on bringing a couple questions I'm going to give him to his planners. How are you finding speakers? What are you looking for from the corporate perspective? So we'll have the corporate perspective on the panel. And then Megan and Tracy. Megan has been with ASAE. So if you've ever spoken for ASAE, you probably have worked for Megan. Megan ran that division for a long time. She left, moved to her family to California. ASAE said, "Oh, not so fast," and they contracted her. So she's still contracting with ASAE and hiring speakers for ASAE and annual and some of their smaller events. But she also has a lot of other association clients as well. And she's just a delight and has been doing this for a long time. And then Tracy is also she's not only a CAE, she's also she's the VP of education, and it comes at it she runs education as well as meetings, and is just a wealth of information. She's really well known in the world as just being super smart, and has hired lots of speakers. So the 3 of us, and of course myself, walking on both shoes as a speaker for many years, and then now on the other side of the table. So we're going to open, we're just going to pull back the curtain and talk really honestly about what we're seeing out there, how we're finding speakers, what we're hearing, what we know to be true from our clients, and really try to give we're going to talk a lot about delivering value, building relationships, what it takes to get rehired, and all the things. So it's going to be an hour robust conversation. We're going to engage people with questions. We're trying to decide how we're going to do that. We're probably going to be using Slido, just because giving a mic to people in front of 4 people that, could hire them is a scary thought.
Yes.
So I think I'll probably use Slido so that the questions will get summed up and the good questions will rise up and the bad questions you want. And you're limited on characters, so you can't do a paragraph of why you should hire me is a question. So anyways, that's it's going to be good, 1 to 2. And you're right. It's basically we end at 12. There's lunch from 12 to 1. And then we're going to be in the largest room. It's not the general session room, because they'll be getting that ready for the CPAE event. But we're going to be in the largest room that they have, which does hold 800 people. So anybody who wants to come should be able to get in the room.
I suspect the 4 of you will be getting a lot of LinkedIn connection requests. And then, so a question I want to ask you from a previous guest: what's happened to you in the past? Anything that would change the trajectory of your speaking career? Is there a topic you wish you'd learned more of, or something you would wish you had done less of? You've been a successful speaker and earned your CSP as well. What's something you wish you could have changed?
Wish I could have changed. Gosh, that's an interesting question, because I've been kind of out of that for 12 years. I think what came to my head first was knowing really clearly what my lane was, and saying, and this happened during my run, my marathon run, trying to get my CSP and get all the gigs in that I needed to get in. And I took a gig that I was not a good fit for, but I took it because not so much I needed the money, although the money was nice. It was more about getting the numbers that I needed for my CSP and bombing and just bombing and, ended up giving the money back to the client. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, when you're not a good fit, never say yes. I would have been so much better off referring somebody which would have been a good fit, which I do a lot of, and I did a lot of, which is kind of why I'm doing the work I do now. But it was, I should have trusted that something right would have come along by giving that one up and getting the right person in there. So that one, yeah, that's
Yeah.
something.
No, you're right. Well, what is a question that you would like to ask a future guest on this show?
I think something that I just touched on, which is the disruption that's happening in the meetings industry. No question, attendance is down right now for most of our clients. And speakers, not so much have been impacted yet. But my question would be, what are you doing as you think towards 26? With the disruption, the uncertainty in the world, how are you preparing, being proactive, thinking about how that's going to impact your business as a speaker, and what are you going to do to get in front of it?
Amen. Well, let's do a quick recap then based on Sarah's insider advice. Number one, at the end of the day, they want to see unedited and authentic video when you're considering getting chosen. They still are especially always looking for trusted sources, and video helps take some of that replacement. They take and share notes. Remember, meeting planners take and share notes. But if you aren't well known and you do get that chance, then make sure to kill it and the word will get out. And a reminder, put your phone number on your website. Number two, can you understand their audience and their plans as well as have a solution? Such an important note. Number three, the value you bring to the stage means different things to different groups of people at an event. Be able to articulate what those actions are and what you will help them walk away with after an event with that value. A value comes off the stage often as much as it does on the stage. And looking at value is a great way to help contribute to building lasting relationships and not just a transaction.
Thank you for listening to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. Interested in taking your speaking career to the next level? If you'd like more information on becoming a member of the National Speakers Association, just click the link in the description below. And don't miss your chance to attend NSA's Thrive Conference in New Orleans this February 2026. It's the ultimate event to gain exclusive insights and practical skills from top industry leaders. That link is in the description too. We'll see you there.